welcome back to the TBD podcast, joined by the legends, Keenan Street Matter, and Case, Jimmy Butler. And here we are, man. This is gonna be I'll say this and I hope that it will be truthful. I will try to be truthful in my heart of hearts as I say this right now. But this actually should be our last sports-based podcast for a little bit, at least. We have some beautiful things on the horizons as far as spiritual discussions, possibly discussions involving interesting scenarios, and then possibly some discussions as well involving movie, maybe TV, things like that. And so I'm just going to actually name it and claim it right there that we will actually appeal to our non-sports audiences, because I know we had those step-sing audit or episodes, but here we are with our last sports. We'll probably like say something about the finals whenever it ends, but we'll not do a full episode on it. But here we are, man. Icebreaker for the day, which is not too juicy, but just the right amount of juice, kind of like a green grape. If you could work one random job for just a day to see what it was like, what would the job be? Any takers?
Ian, what are your thoughts? Let's hear it.
Well, I may have taken this maybe not such a
You can
random
modify
route.
it. You can modify it. Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's not super random, and it's actually a job I think would be. And Hank and I've talked about this many times. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I would love to be a Kirk Herbstreit or Joel Klatt for a day and just be a sports announcer for a football game.
Yeah.
And I think just shadowing them and doing that for a day on a Saturday, do college game day or big noon kickoff, and just experience it all. I think it would be a lot of fun. So that's not super random. I mean, this is kind of random, and I'll just kind of go on a limb here, is just to be like down in Florida and just be like a wakeboard coach guy, like on a boat, just like,
You'd be good at both of those.
Yeah.
Just kind of a random like tourist attraction, like where people pay to get lessons on wakeboarding, and you just kind of sit back there with the boat, and you got a sick boat, and you're just bumming on the beach all day.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it for a day, you, JC Cope, get out there. Y'all can start a little profit business.
You guys
Honestly, actually, I take that back. An all-encompassing sports day. So, like, they come and they pay for, like, you go and play pickleball, then you go play spike ball, then you get on the boat, and it's like you just pay for, like, us to go and do all these amazing, like, play basketball, play, like, some sort of other sporting event. Like, it'd be so much fun. I don't know if that's out there, but that'd be cool.
Y'all are so above average in all these sports that I think that people would happily take lessons. But
gosh, no, not for me.
I was surprised to not hear your classic claim, which I guess is technically not a job, but just the stay-at-home dad route.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I know that
That's
was
a job.
dream one day.
That's a job,
it is a job. If it is true, if it's true fatherhood, you are all in, you are really invested, and you are ready to get all the meals going, all the pickups, all that. I mean, absolutely, and read them a bed-night story, give them a good night kiss after some more milk. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, similar to the LSU players with the air-conditioned helmets. Sorry.
All right, Hank.
I would say, well, honestly, the first one that came to mind, I'm not kidding, when I was thinking about this a little bit, was sports announcer, but I'm going to go ahead and not say that one. But that one's more of like a dream job. I don't really know if that qualifies. I'm trying to think of something maybe a little more random. A few things come to mind. I would say one, be possibly a restaurant owner, specifically a pizza shop. I love pizza, making some pizzas, doing some hand tossed dough, throwing it
with the sound effects.
Yep.
I would be doing I would be doing the effects in the shop. So that would be one. Maybe an auctioneer, possibly. I'm not sure what items I'd be
like the guy that's calling it out.
Yep.
Can you possibly give an example? Like, have you ever practiced it? Maybe go ahead and put you on the spot here.
Gosh, I'm not. I'm not sure. I'm feeling a little under pressure, and I feel like I'm crumbling a little bit. So I'll have to come back. I'll come back at some point with a decent impression. But I think I've given it a try once or twice, more as a joke. But I could go to the auctioneering school and learn it maybe. So no big deal.
I believe.
But those two are two that come to mind. Would love those.
Yeah, I was thinking, these would definitely be, again, emphasizing the work a random job for just a day. One of them I could see myself enjoying for long term. One of them I probably would not, but I would still feel like it'd be beneficial. So my like fun answer would be specifically to be a food taster and just be a specialist in candy. Just because that's probably my favorite thing to do is just chomp on some candy. I had some Scandinavian swimmers from Trader Joe's that I've been munching on lately. The best are the blue ones. So those are really good. And then the little bit more serious answer, and this is actually in the street matter wheelhouse technically, but would be to be a farmer for a day, just because I feel like there's just something to doing the work, the Edenic work, if you will, the work of Eden. You're going down, you're getting under the hot sun, and you're getting those hands plunged into the dirt, you're getting down and dirty, and you're just working with earth. And I say that specifically as somebody that is definitely not experienced in that regards. And so like, I don't, unfortunately, I can't even change my own tire, don't roast me out here in the comment section, but I think it would be great to, and not necessarily be operating crazy heavy machinery, but just to genuinely be by hand, maybe even with an ox, like plowing some fields, and things like that.
What do you imagine if you were doing it by hand? I mean, what do you imagine? You're out in the fields, kind of,
Oh yeah, you got a hoe and a rake, and you're just hacking at stuff. And
I don't know if you've ever seen on YouTube. I mean, go live a day with the Amish, man. You can get that. You can get that exact same experience that you want, man.
Churn that butter with Jedediah, and that'd be good.
Yeah, seriously. Also, I know y'all would be really interested in this one. I was also thinking of possibly, I don't know the exact job title, but someone that climbs the towers at once a month, the extremely tall towers, and changes one light for about $20,000-$30,000 every time. I'd do
Oh
that.
no, I've seen 60K for that one time.
For one?
Yeah, twice a year, every 6 months.
You could offer me 100 billion, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, are you sure? 100 billion?
I would not. I promise.
What's America's GDP?
I mean, dude, I think if I was with somebody, if I was with somebody and they're like, you just, you have safety.
Nobody's with you. No, and your safety's not guaranteed. No, I'm just
well, safety is definitely not guaranteed.
You go with the exact same knowledge you have now, and you have to climb up that thing. I obviously know.
Yeah, like there is, my thing is, no matter what the safety precautions, no matter if they could guarantee me safety, I mean, I'm probably still not going to do it just because I'm really that scared.
Safety? Are you serious?
$100 million.
I'm sorry, man. I just couldn't do it. But
all right,
gosh, Jimmy Buckets would do it behind you.
If I could be guaranteed safety, I'd do it in a heartbeat, bud.
Yeah.
God. Jimmy's just staring at Hank on my screen.
Yeah, a little creepy. Not in a heartbeat. Also, good. I take that back. But I had to say it.
And there is that movie that came out of the two girls climbing the tower after her husband dies in a climbing accident, and then she her friend is like, you gotta face your fear and climb this tower, even though she's been through a really traumatic experience, her husband's died climbing, and they get to the top of this tower and the ladder falls off and they have to just sit at the top of this ridiculously high tower, and buzzards are circling them and they're getting beaten by the hot sun.
That sounds terrible.
That's kind of what I think about when I read. I just get kind of anxious.
I'm sorry about that, man.
It's all good. Let's talk about the playoffs, conference finals, NBA finals. I am happy to actually be a man who can ask some questions. Y'all can too, of course, but kind of pose some questions to y'all, hear y'all's thoughts on it. As we see the conference finals wrap up, 4-0 sweep, Nuggets over Lakers, and then we'll get to this in a little bit. Crazy series going to Game 7, Heat win in 7 in Boston. But as we think about specifically the 4-0 sweep, and I wouldn't say I'm too surprised by it. I'm a little surprised that it was a sweep, but not surprised by the result. What is the next steps for the Lakers? What's their next steps? LeBron's old. They do have a first-year coach. They definitely have some moves that can be made. Actually, I heard that they have maybe 3 or 4 guys on guaranteed contracts through the end of next season. That's it. So what's the move?
I think the next move is going to be what it's always been for LeBron, in terms of teams are going to build around him, right? And so AD will be there, it will be him, and then they're going to put together some older guys on probably some 1 or 2 year contracts that are decent players, and then they're going to go get one other star. And that's either going to be Kyrie, Dame or somebody else to come pair up with him. I truly believe that as long as LeBron is still playing, nobody's tanking on LeBron's team. So they'll try and put together, I always think of like Sean Marion somehow ended up on like the Cavs for a year. Like old school guys that are that are happy to take either a pay cut or come in on 1 or 2 year contract. They're decent players to put up around LeBron, and they'll go for one more run or 2 more runs. But that's how I think their next steps will be.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue against that. My only thing is, I actually don't even think the Lakers were a bad team. Like in the playoffs, I think they would have beaten about anybody but the Nuggets. So it's kind of hard for me to see how they.
You think they would have beaten the Suns?
I think it would have been a really tight series. I mean, that's a pretty exaggerated comment, but it kind of
That's fair. That's fair.
I stick to my point that I do think their team is really good, especially when they're healthy. I mean, that was the reason why they didn't have a good regular season record, and I mean, there's obviously pieces they can improve on without a doubt, but at the end of the day, their main goal is to get to the playoffs and just be there and be healthy. I feel like a lot of teams have done that more recently. Is like not care as much about the regular season, especially, or they care about it, of course, but it seems to be less of a big deal. It's like the Warriors last year. Just kind of they were there and they were confident, and it didn't really matter what seed they were. It's kind of more my point. I don't know. It's hard to see like huge pieces that would come in and really drastically change their team. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it.
Would you be advising of we're just running it back? Like, I mean, do you think that
I mean, I think there's
helps?
pieces to improve, no doubt. I would have to do maybe a little bit of a deeper analysis on their team and their roster specifically, but I mean, I do think their team is pretty good. I just again, I'd have to check it out.
I think, well, I do think that their record was bad because of injury, but it was also bad because of bad roster management. And unfortunately, I love him. He's an amazing player. Russell Westbrook is a real big reason why they weren't very good.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think I do think one thing for me, they need to sign Austin Reeves back. I think they should do it.
Yeah.
He was their third best player. Now, depending on how much money they'd have to give him, that's kind of, that is a question that you maybe have to ask. Maybe you can just slot Malik Beasley into that role, but he's just probably not going to do the same thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably one thing that you want to focus on as well. But I do think, like, for instance, I know he had some great games. Like D'Angelo Russell is definitely not like the ideal man for the job.
Completely
and he was terrible.
agree.
And he was pretty terrible in the later games, especially in the Nuggets series. Like, if they could get Dame, which I don't know if they can, that would be an insane upgrade. I would personally not really vouch for Kyrie just because I just don't know. Like, I know he worked so well with LeBron specifically. Like that pairing was like a match made in heaven, but we just don't know what that man is thinking. We don't know if he's gonna, like, we just don't know if he's mentally stable, unfortunately. So that's my opinion.
And I'm biased. I just watched The Last Dance again last week just for fun. Kyrie, in a way, kind of reminds me of, this is extreme, a Dennis Rodman. Almost like he is so unreliable. Obviously Dennis Rodman is really out there, but Kyrie is so unreliable, and you just never know if he's going to be there. And it's kind of like a thing where Dennis needed MJ to hone in and play, and Kyrie is kind of that to LeBron, where when he's around LeBron, he's gonna show up and ball, and he's gonna be responsible. He understands he's got LeBron on his team, and he's gonna show up and play. And if he's not, he's just gonna kind of be a clown.
Gosh, Keenan, I like that comparison. I've never thought about it like that.
I don't disagree with it completely. No,
yeah.
I don't really disagree with it at all.
I guess one of my thoughts was, in terms of what the Lakers can do, I kind of think, when I think about that, I think about where can you improve your weaknesses other than D'Lo. I mean, it was kind of a weak link. I feel like they have a lot of average players in some spots. They don't, it's like they're not really bad, but they're also not great. They're not great NBA players. So I guess you could definitely improve some of those spots, would be my main answer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's a happy medium, because we see the Heat, are basically all role players, and they have had a crazy run, but they've made it to the finals. Like whenever the Lakers basically try to do Russ, AD, LeBron, and then league minimum players, like literally league minimum players, it does not work.
Well,
yeah, no, I'm actually adding to your point, like that right now they've got LeBron, AD, and a bunch of solid role players, and it actually worked out pretty well for them after the trade deadline. Whenever they got Rui, whenever they got D'Lo,
yeah,
and so, but obviously the ceiling isn't quite high enough right now.
that's
But the
that's
floor
a
is
good point.
much better. And
Yes.
so kind of figuring out how can we keep this floor, but raising the ceiling a little bit, because it may not be that smart to go after a huge star. Maybe it's adding a role player to, I mean, I think even I just think even any upgrade at point guard would raise that ceiling without losing the floor, I think.
Fair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But anyways, the people will care about the Lakers as long as they're a team, because they're a massive market. But I do think it kind of helps that I don't believe that the NBA is rigged, seeing that the Lakers and Celtics both didn't make the finals. I feel like that would be in the rigging thing, or the Warriors making it again. I feel like it'd be the riggy type thing. Like it was, I don't think Heat Nuggets is a rigged type situation.
Yeah, I thought I think I did possibly, I don't really remember who I said this to, but I was kind of going to be shocked if both the Celtics and the Lakers were swept or went out in 5. Well, they did. Celtics put off the magical run to take it to 7 and just get some money in the NBA's pockets. So that's still on the board for me.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
Maybe Derek White. I mean, maybe Adam Silver gave Derek White a call right before that inbound play.
All right.
I'm just kidding.
Well, speaking of the Celtics, because they're in a actually, unfortunately, probably a much more insane boat. They've had basically a pretty similar roster for like 5-6 years. They've been there with the same guys, and it just isn't. It's not. They're not getting the job done when it matters most. And so, what do they need to do?
Keenan?
Yeah. Oh,
have any thoughts, man?
I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm at some point, Al Horford's got to go. That dude's been around.
Yeah, bro, get him out of here.
He's been on that team since MJ was in the league. Gosh, him and Bird played together.
How old is Al Horford? You want to take a guess?
Well, I think of him as an Atlanta Hawk, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I do. But he played for the Celtics and then he went away from the Celtics and came back. But
definitely.
I think you have to point to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and look at them. Obviously Jimmy is carrying the Heat, and so with two superstars, if you want to call Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum superstars, you got to find a way to win with those two. I don't know. I hear things back and forth that they're going to break up. That they can't play together. JB is out. It sounds like Jason Tatum's a lock to stay with the Celtics. I don't think they'll ever move him, but it sounds like JB would be the one to move. Would a person like Dame, trading, do a 1-for-1 with draft picks, JB for Dame? Would that push him over the edge? I'm not really sure. I
think Portland might enjoy that trade.
I think they might, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're Portland, I think that's about as great. If Dame wants out, that's if Dame, Dame made the comments that he never wants to leave Portland. But if Dame wants out, that's about as good of a win as you're going to get to get him to leave. But I just saw the Celtics are going to re-sign the coach. Yeah, and so I think that's good. We've had extensive conversations outside of this call about retaining coaches and giving them the opportunity to come back. So I think that is a good call. But I don't have a direct answer for what next steps are for Celtics.
Yeah, it's challenging for them. I think it goes to show how hard being a GM is of an NBA team. Because, I mean, if you just sign a bunch of stars, it doesn't really work. I don't think that's really been proven to work at all in the NBA, unless I can be proven wrong. I mean, I know that there are a lot of stars on teams based on like draft picks and they've developed players, and that feels a little different to me than like, okay, let's go out and sign, let's get Kyrie, let's get Luka, let's get Dame on the same team, like something crazy. It's just I don't know. I think it's proved proven to show how you have to have that balance. I don't know. The Celtics are weird, and more importantly, Jason Tatum's kind of a weird player to me. I don't really know how to feel about him. I will say I felt pretty unfortunate for him. He got hurt in the last game. I think he was just pretty badly hurt. Honestly, I didn't really think he was even close to 100%. He could have sat out. If that's the regular season, he definitely doesn't play the rest of that game.
But they
So
shouldn't have
it's-
been in that position in the first place.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
that's the bigger thing.
Yeah,
You mean
But I agree.
down 3-0?
I mean, they are way more talented.
Oh,
They
without
just
a doubt.
like the issue is they just love shooting threes. Like they just love chucking them up.
And
Well, they love
don't
shooting
just terrible at him.
threes.
They can't
And-
drive.
and
they cannot
they-
drive.
Well, and they can't hit a broadside of a barn in the fourth quarter. I mean, I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
well, it's the
they
last
can't.
two series. I'm not kidding.
Except for Derek White.
Fourth quarter comes around, and they
Yep.
were. I think the numbers were like they were outscored 68-12 in the fourth quarter over two series. You can't put up 12 points in the fourth quarter and expect to win.
12?
Yeah.
It was some that was probably over exaggerated. I think it was like I'm not kidding. It may have been like 68-24 in the fourth quarter over two series. They were not
That's
throwing a whole
terrible.
lot of points.
Okay, I got a question. I don't, you guys know better than I do, but why isn't Robert Williams playing more? Is he not amazing?
He balled out. I thought he played phenomenal in Game 7. I was very impressed with him.
And I also hate to say it, and I think you guys maybe know where this is going, but my boy Grant Williams, man, he sucks at playing defense. He was getting cooked in that series.
I don't want to point. It's never just that one player, but he cost them the first 3 games of the series. I truly believe.
Wow. Okay, that's a strong statement. Did he?
I'm not kidding. Was that Game 1? That was Game.
No, that
1.
was Game 2.
Oh,
They won game. He won Game 1 without having to come back. Game 2, they had.
Okay, well, Game 2 and Game 3 were Grant Williams behind him because he lit a fire underneath Jimmy, and Jimmy just went at him.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
No, I just say maybe give Peyton Pritchard's some minutes instead of Jaylen Brown. They might win. So.
Also, I just want to look at the amount of minutes players are playing, and I realize players need to sit and everything, but I mean, again, going back to the Last Dance, I'm looking at these are Game 6, Game 7s of MJ. MJ's playing every stinking minute but 2 minutes, and instead you've got long runs where Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are sitting out for 10 minutes plus. What are we doing, man? This is Game 7. Like, you're going to go home and sit on the couch all summer. Let's rock and roll. And I don't think a star in a Game 7 should be sitting out for more than 6 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of gets back to, I mean,
yeah,
do Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, do they have that dog in them? I mean, honestly,
they don't.
I know it's kind of goofy, but I'm serious. I'm really not kidding.
Yeah,
like Jimmy's got the dog in him. It's been proven over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, Jason Tatum didn't in this game. Historically in Game 7s, he's averaging about 28 a game in Game 7.
Yeah, I don't put it on as much on Jason Game 7 specifically, but yes, agreed. I also going back also, the Lakers need to sign Derek White. Incredible player that no one cares about. Well, other than NBA fans, they obviously know he's good, but seriously.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah. He balled out.
Man, Derek White and Austin Reeves, future of the Lakers franchise.
Dude, if they got Derek White and Reeves on that team, I mean, that would be pretty good.
Bring back Alex Caruso. They'll be balling.
Oh, Alex Caruso.
I love Alex Caruso. I do.
What if the Lakers signed Al Horford?
Oh. I mean, maybe sign Dwight Howard while they're at it again.
God.
Oh.
Bring him back for one more championship.
Also, hold on. I'm so sorry. Dennis Schroeder, too. Not very good.
Yeah, he was good at his time with the
Hawks.
All right.
I think unfortunately I kind of do think that the Celtics might be kind of just doomed for a little bit. So that's kind of my take on it. Just because the teams around them are gonna, I don't know. I feel like the teams around them are gonna elevate. Like for instance, the Knicks. I think the Knicks are gonna continue to elevate. The Sixers are tough. I don't actually know about them, but I do think the Bucks probably can sustain what they're doing, and the Cavs will continue to get better. So I don't know. I mean, the Celtics should have the roster to do it, but if they decide to blow it up, they are probably doomed. So maybe just run it back. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They went to the final. I mean, they went to the finals last year. It's not like they had a bad.
They have
a bad team.
I think they've been last year. I think they've been there at least the last 3 or 4 years, close to, in the East Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's why they get paid the big bucks and we don't.
True. Brad Stevens is out there doing his job. He's a good GM. Maybe.
We're gonna see.
All right, we're getting to the teams that are actually in the finals. The Nuggets, the Heat. Is this the start of a Warriors-esque dynasty for the Nuggets? Because they're really young, man. You're looking at, I think Jokic 28, Murray, or I think Murray 27, Aaron Gordon 28. Like it's like all the guys are 28 and below. The starters basically. And they dominated this playoffs.
The West
That's
is
so hard to say that, man. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's not so much what the Nuggets aren't. I think they're incredible, and I think they will be incredible. It's more my hesitation is what the West is and will be for years to come, and it's just tough. It's a gauntlet out there. I mean, if the Suns reload and KD stays out there with D Booker, Suns are going to be a tough out. Obviously, the Lakers are not going to be a slouch. And Curry and Clay aren't going anywhere. They're always going to be at least respectable. To say they're going to be another Warriors dynasty, I mean, the Warriors, we don't have to start into this debate, is probably the second best dynasty of all time.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's pretty. You're talking about high praise there. If I was just saying, I would say no, they're not going to be the Warriors dynasty, but I think they'll be good. They ain't going anywhere in the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to say Warriors dynasty. I mean, the Warriors. Well, it all kind of matters as to what level of consistency Jokic continues to play at. Because if he does, I definitely think they could win multiple championships. And I would probably tend to say that they have the best chance to win multiple right now out of all the teams.
I would definitely say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with how they've done this run. I think if they can, I mean, look, man, if the Heat can keep it up, I'll kudos to them. But I'm not expecting this to be highly. I'm not expecting this to be, a 7-game series. And if the Nuggets can maybe even do it in a more convincing fashion than people are expecting, man, they're gonna have a lot of confidence. I mean, they're just playing so well. I guess we'll see. I mean, they have like you said, they have a younger team. It's just a matter of guys avoiding injury. Doesn't really seem like there's a lot of big egos on their team. That's one thing I've noticed. Is like Jokic definitely doesn't have an ego, and then the other guys are just really solid. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. I think something could potentially be brewing just because I feel like, in my eyes, maybe I'm wrong on this, but like, I just don't know how much better these West teams are going to be getting. I see these East teams actually getting a lot better. The ones that I mentioned, I just don't know how much better the West teams can get. That's my thing. Because like the Suns, like Chris Paul is about to be just too old, man. Like, and DeAndre Ayton so inconsistent. Like there's that Suns team, they cannot beat a Nuggets by just shooting a ton of two pointers. They actually shot the ball really efficiently and still lost the series. Which you could probably argue that should have been the conference finals, or even like that might have been like maybe the championships determining, depending on how the series goes with them and the Heat, like as far as like competitiveness. But I don't know. I could see them grabbing 3 or 4. I really could, but I know that might not happen by any stretch of the imagination. But I think barring health, they could.
It's not a bad prediction. I could definitely see it. I just, I mean,
they
there's a reason why
dynasty.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just was saying, there's a reason why why dynasties are so acclaimed. It's not easy to do. If everyone could do it, you'd have a million dynasties. There's like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
LeBron has 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a prime example. You're talking about number 1 or number 2 best players of all time, and
yeah,
they've only got 4. It's tough to do.
It is.
But
it's hard.
I would argue LeBron's never had a team as balanced as the Nuggets this year. But balance, specifically it's beautifully created. But
it's amazing. They're an amazing team. I would say the only comparison would be some of the Cavs, the Heat. Yeah, the Heat teams, of course. The Heat team. I mean, Graham, would you say the Heat teams were not
that year? Ray Allen was on that team.
Not as I think it's close. Just because like it's literally like all 5 positions. That's the thing that strikes me.
So you're thinking balance wise? You're thinking like, are they as good as them wise?
it's a balanced thing. Like you've got Jamal Murray is going to be better than like Mario Chalmers or whoever the Heat would have had right there.
Norris Cole.
Yeah, Mario
Like,
Chalmers.
and here's the deal: Dwayne Wade is of course better than KCP, but KCP is perfect for that role. He just sits there and shoot three pointers and plays great defense, and he's amazing at it. And then you've got Michael Porter Jr., who shoots 45% from three. And then you've got Aaron Gordon, who is a fringe all-star, who's like their fourth best player, maybe. And then you have the best player in the league. So I don't know. It's just, to me, the starting five is such balance. And then you've got Bruce Brown on a steal of a contract, Christian Brown, who's just an amazing 3-and-D player as well. So it's a balance thing where it's just no other team's ever had a balance like that.
That's fair.
Yeah, now I'm just thinking about all the teams that the Nuggets, like comparing them to past teams. I mean, how the Nuggets team would have played the Warriors back in the day? Just so
I would have
it's so
loved to watch it.
Well, they're just so different than any other team, right? And we haven't had a big man who does what Jokic does, which is A, shoot at an incredibly high rate, 2, pass at an incredibly high rate, and he's just so versatile.
So good, dude.
Yeah. And he's so big. And he's like, I even think about the Heat. I mean, he's a matchup nightmare for the Heat.
Yeah.
Bam cannot guard him.
Yeah.
We're going to find out tonight.
You can bring in Udonis Haslem.
Udonis Haslem. That man's 45.
Cody Zeller.
Yeah.
You can bring in Kevin Love. He'll guard him.
God.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best matchup is in the East, and that's Embiid. And they can't make it there.
They can't. And we're happy about it too.
James Harden's out, so.
Yeah, none of us like the Sixers, right? All three of us?
Oh, no.
Nah.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I'm good.
But we got times taking a little bit. A couple points that I would want to say is I do think like Derek White's Game 6 shot might end up being one of the greatest forgotten shots in history once the time kind of ages for a bit, because it's literally one of the like wildest shots in NBA history. I just wonder if it doesn't really it's not going to be thought about a lot because they just lost the series, and it wasn't in the finals. But I do want to give the flowers to the Heat. My man, Jimmy Butler. I've been rocking with him since the Bulls days. And he's great, man. He's a great personality. The Heat have been able to do this in part due to him with the alpha mentality, as well as we talked about before, amazing coaching, consistency in the front office, and just belief and balance. And they also do have great shooters, and Caleb Martin became a ridiculous all-star last series. Still, Jimmy deserved Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But shout out to the Heat. We do got to make our predictions for the NBA Finals. Who wins? How many games? Keenan?
Nuggets. And I think I'm going to go in 5.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Go Nuggets in 5. So I'll give my prediction, and then I want to, because I figured that would be the case, and because that's also probably a greatly informed take, as well as what the analysts would say. I want to pose the question of how can Miami win the series without injuries, like without anything like crazy happening. How can they do it? And with that being said, here's the deal. I don't know if I truly believe it in my heart of hearts, but here's the deal. Round 1, Heat in 5. Round 2, Heat in 6. Round 3, conference finals, Heat in 7. So technically, if they're on this pace, you would say it would be Heat losing in 7, technically, like if they keep that ladder of like progression. But just because, man, my loyalties lie where they may, and I'll be too sad to not predict the amazing championship and probably one of the most impressive rings of all time, right alongside Dirk's ring against LeBron in the 2011. I'm going Heat in 7. I just think I don't know if I truly believe it in my heart of hearts, but because I want to, and because I will rock with Jimmy as he listens to Morgan Wallen before his games. I'm gonna go Heat in 7. But how can Miami win the series? We've got 5 minutes.
I'm not sure. The Heat played a beautiful 2-3 versus Celtics and caused major fits game 2 and game 3. I'm not sure how that plays against the Nuggets shooting abilities and Jokic in the middle. Maybe something to throw in there, for a few minutes in each quarter to try and throw them off. The Celtics like to shoot a lot of threes. The Nuggets like to shoot a lot of threes. if you can somehow slow that down and truly make someone else besides Jokic beat you, I think those are the only two ways that you have a chance of winning. And Jimmy's got to play. And I think it's an undeniable.
Yeah.
Jimmy's got to go off, and he can't have an off night. And he's just got to have a dog mentality, which I think he will.
Threes have got to go in. And hey, Tyler Hero, game 3 return. Could that be a factor?
It makes me nervous. We don't have a lot of time to discuss it, but I'm actually not sure that's hurt them at all, him being out this series. I kind of find that there's got to be some correlation between those guys getting hurt and them doing well. I don't really know why. That doesn't mean they're bad players. Just random thought. I don't know. I think it kind of comes down to Bam, honestly. If Bam made the all defensive second team, I mean, he's a good defensive player. He obviously knows what he's doing on the defensive end of the floor.
Jimmy's a good defensive player too. Like Bam's getting on Jokic, Jimmy gets the swipes in,
I mean, if Bam can play decent defense, hold Jokic to play average at best, which is really amazing still, if maybe below average, and the Heat have just been draining threes. I mean, they have just been draining threes. Yeah, I mean, if Caleb Martin, if Strus, if Duncan Robinson, those guys can keep up their 3-point percentage, and Jimmy's just got to play solid as he has been, and you got to have big moments. I think Jimmy he's had multiple huge moments this playoff run. He's got to have some more. I think that if you can eliminate or try to eliminate as much as possible the Jokic factor, then it becomes a decent matchup. It still definitely leans Nuggets, of course, in my opinion. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're playing basketball out there, y'all. That's the thing about sports I love so much. They're playing basketball, and I promise you, the Heat aren't going into it thinking they're going to lose. So.
Oh no, I do, and I do think that you're onto something there with the rotation being so short for the Heat that maybe actually has helped them with Oladipo and Hero out. But I don't know, man. Like I kind of also wonder, like Jamal Murray's basically been an all NBA caliber player in the playoffs. Like I know Jokic is their steam engine of the team, if you will, but like Murray has been a version of himself that we have not even seen ever. And I'm wondering, like when all the lights are bright, it's the NBA Finals. Does Murray play like he's been playing like a top 10 player? I don't think people are disagreeing with that. Like, no. Does he do that, or does he become the other version of Jamal Murray that's like he's one of the final guys on the all-star ballot, 23, 24, because I think that's going to matter more than we think. And of course, they've got to hit their threes. They're a good 3-point shooting team as well. If they're not cashing those in, and the Heat are, I mean, that's a way to do it. But
yep, you're right about that.
It'll be fun, man. We're looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
But excited for the new Spider-Verse movie coming out. As I say that, have a possible preview of a potential episode coming up. Not involving just that, but like I said, man, we're promising diverse content coming up. So yes. Y'all can be licking y'all's chops and waiting for that.
Yes. Also, quickly, in 30 seconds, unless I've missed something huge, is Dylan Brooks going to be re-signed to an NBA team?
Don't need 30 seconds. No.
No? Final answer?
I don't want him to be, but he will. Someone's going to pick him up.
You don't think so, Graham? Really?
I don't know who would want to. I'm sorry.
I don't blame. Trust me. I wouldn't. I just was wondering.
I cannot imagine a GM wanting him. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's brutal, but it's true. I mean, the Grizzlies we're kind of the home, we're obviously his home team, and they booted him out of there.
Yeah. All right. Peace, love, and blessings. It's been real.
All right, y'all. Enjoyed it.
Peace.
Peace.
See ya.